ideas, suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and all the countries and
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne. To our regular viewing audience, welcome. To those joining us perhaps for the first time here for HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, we can be found now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. and Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. As always, on top of the show, let me thank you for your thoughtful calls, emails, and text messages concerning previous shows we've had here on HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, but particularly your great ideas for guest topics and subjects to be covered on upcoming segments of Dialogue Houston. For those of you who've been following the show now, because we've been on now, this is our 32nd season, you know that recently in the last few years, the second show, about once a month, sometimes a little frequent more than that, is dedicated to the Houston Public Library. And we call this the Wonderful What? The Houston Public Library, your link card, this little card. If you don't have one, you need to get one, my link. This part of the show is called Living in New Knowledge. Link, Living in New Knowledge. So this is HPL's segment of Living in New Knowledge, where we tell you all the great things that's happening with our Houston Public Library. I want to make sure that you're aware and abreast of all the great things that happens there. So, and joining me this week, I'm very happy and proud to have two of HPL's finest, and they are Donnie Byrd, who is the Community Engagement Coordinator and Adult and Senior Services. I probably got it wrong anyway. Adult and Senior Program. Did I get close, Donnie?
Somewhat,
okay.
If I may.
Go ahead, community what? Tell me.
Sure, that'll be Community Involvement Coordinator for Adult and Senior Programs.
There we go. Community Involvement Coordinator, Adult and Senior Programs.
Right, we did say it's a long title, so understand.
I got it. Because you did say involvement. I got involvement wrote down here, but the mind always thinks engagement.
Engagement, right. Well, it's same thing, so hey.
All right, here we go. And also joining us today is Crystal Swimmer, who is the Children's Service Coordinator. I got that right. Children's Service Coordinator. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So let's begin with Crystal, because it is summertime, it is kids, and it is books, and it is reading, and it's just having fun. So tell us all the great stuff that's going on, Crystal.
Well, there's a lot of great stuff to share. We're really excited about summer reading this year. It's the first year that we've been fully back to maximum capacity since the pandemic and everything that has happened. We have 204 shows happening across our 34 locations with 27 different presenters and performers, all geared towards our kids and teens. We also are having our annual summer reading challenge. So what this looks like is for our little kids, our 0 to 4-year-old kids, is we ask that between June 1st and July 31st that they read or have read to them 30 books. And then for our older kids, our teens, and our adults, which Donnie will talk a little bit about here in a little bit, we ask that out of those days between June 1st and July 31st, that they read at least 30 of those days for 20 minutes a day. It counts if they read together as a group. It counts if they're read to, if they read to someone. Audiobooks count. Whatever they want to read, graphic novels, magazines, books. We just want to encourage their love of reading and literacy in whatever form that looks like. So once they complete halfway, we have prizes for them. We have water bottles and backpacks that the kids and teens can choose from. Our babies get a really cute little baby tote bag that will hold all their little board books when they come visit us at the library. It's very adorable. And then for our adults, we have a completion prize for them where they get to choose from an aluminum water bottle or a drawstring backpack. And then going back to our kids and teens, when they complete, they get to go to their library and pick out a free book of their choosing. We have thousands of books that we collected for them to choose from. So there's something for everyone. There's graphic novels, there's board books, there's books in Spanish, there's bilingual books. We wanted to be completely inclusive and just really invite our community to come in and enjoy reading with us and have some fun this summer.
Sounds like a lot going on, and there is.
It is.
But as you said, it's something for everyone.
Yes.
And I enjoyed, and when I grew up in our public library in my little hometown, was a great contest to see who could read the most books. And there were prizes. I mean, great prizes. And I was determined every year to try to at least win the first, second, or third place prize. Well, you know, it's a noble effort, but you had some kids who were just, you weren't going to beat them. It doesn't matter what you did, but it was great fun and great competition. We actually had a great core group that got to do a lot of things together throughout the summer. And I always said this, the public library kept so many of those kids engaged and off the streets, and in many cases out of trouble. And it was a blessing to have the summer reading program at our library. So Donnie, tell us how all this plays out with the adults.
Wow, thank you so much for having me once again. So we are having our what's called summer reading for grown-ups. Now with this program, we're somewhat starting from scratch. I know we had it going on prior to the pandemic, and
Right.
so it was pretty tough coming back after being closed for at least 1 year. So this year, we decided to conjoin our program with the Youth Services Summer Reading Program. So right now, we have been getting a lot of registrations, and I'll tell you this, Larry, so far this is June 30th. So this is the first month that we have completed our 2-month program, and we have already doubled our total number of registrants from last year.
Yay.
Okay. So we have a lot of excited customers, a lot of adults and seniors who have been looking forward to this program and who also have been participating in programs. So just a little bit on what Crystal was saying. So just as for the summer reading for children and teens, there are also some requirements for adults. Well, I don't want to say requirements, to kind of soften up, just some ways to participate. So of course, we do ask them to read for at least 30 days for 20 minutes, write a book review, and also attend library programs and earn prizes. So some of the prizes were already mentioned, you know, the drawstring backpack, as well as the aluminum water bottle. But we also have a lot of great programs going on. So we had an author visit back in earlier this month. It was about 2 weeks ago. So we had Julie Connor. She was at the Morris Frank Library, and she discussed her book, Savoring the Camino de Santiago. It's the pilgrimage, not the hike. There were people from all over Houston who came out to listen to her travel experience. She had a lot of great pictures. She had a lot of interesting information to share. So there was a room full of people there. She sold a lot of books, and I know that she has to be someone that I would have to book again for a program. We also have the very popular Master Gardening series coming from the Texas A&M University's Agri-Life Extension and Harris County Master Gardening Program.
Now you've hit a sweet spot for me. So go ahead. This is it.
Yes, Larry. Yes. So we had our very first lecture this past Wednesday. It was native plants at the Young Neighborhood Library, and we already had over 20 participants. There was a lecturer from Harris County Master Gardeners, and not only did he give a very nice lecture, a very informative lecture. In addition to the people in person, I'm sorry, my light went out automatically, but we're going to continue.
That's all right.
In addition to in-person audience, we also had live streaming. So there were people who viewed the program via Facebook. So in addition to the wonderful lecture, he also brought plants to give away, and there were also seeds that he brought, as well as bags so they could carry them. To see the amount of adults and seniors not just attend the session, but they also brought many questions. Everyone was so intrigued with the information, and they even asked questions that will be answered in upcoming lectures. So it's already proven to be a very successful program, and we have 5 more lectures this summer. So it'll be the Green Thumb series summer lectures, and the very next lecture will be on next Wednesday at the McCrane Cashmere Gardens Library, and the title will be on fall vegetable gardening.
people are really getting into gardening.
Yes.
And the way that you can do it very simply now with the box, you can make I see some boxes, I guess, coming to HPL in front of the plaza. Or anyway, a little gardening thing going on with those things. But you know, it's a fascinating thing to get into. It is very stress releasing to
Yes.
get involved with tilting of the soil and playing in, I call it playing in the dirt for adults.
Yes.
Playing in the dirt as if for adults. But it really is. But it takes a lot to do it right, and having information and the knowledge from the experts really help, because it's more involved than people think. Oh, I just plant the stuff and that's it. Not in this heat. So anyway, so yeah, I'm so glad we're doing that series.
Yes.
So what's the next thing, Crystal, that's coming up for the children?
There are a lot. So we have across the system usually 10 to 15 presenters happening in different areas. Just to run down a few of our more popular ones, we have Texas Snakes and More that comes out. Mr. Clint comes and brings snakes of all different kinds and educates kids and teens on safe ways to handle snakes if they see them in the wild, teaches them, oh, I know you're making that face that we all make about snakes.
That's the one thing I don't
But
do.
it's really educational. And one of our more popular ones at our bigger locations, we get 100+ people that come to these. The kids want to touch the snakes, hold the snake.
Yeah.
I got to hold a python named Reuben a couple weeks ago at the Collier Libraries, 9 feet long. So they come in and they're great. We have a great performer named Balloon Josh that comes in. It's Neverland Balloons. And he does jousting, unicorn jousting with balloons. All the kids who come get to go home with a balloon that he makes for them. We have several animal programs. Other than the snakes, we have crocodile encounters. We have Houston Audubon, who brings some of their raptors in. I got to see a really cute owl last week. That was great. Nature Discovery Center comes and does programs for us. One of my favorites that has made a lot of the littles really happy is we have a company called Odyssey Mermaids. They come in wearing a 40-pound mermaid tail, and they perform a story time for the kids and songs about the oceans and mermaids. It's the cutest thing to see little 4- and 5-year-olds do this. There's clowns, there's musicians, there's hands-on science workshops. I mean, anything that a kid could be interested in, we have something for them. Houston Grand Opera is a big one too. So we just tried to reach all interests, all ages, across the board. We just found some really, really great people to come out and work with us this summer.
Full disclosure, why I don't like snakes. I was bitten by a baby rattler.
Oh no.
At a Boy Scout jamboree, but thank God it was a baby, so it didn't have the full venom. So anyway, so that's why no snakes. So go to our website, because all that stuff is listed, and you'll see pages after pages, dates after dates, in different locations throughout the system, so you can avail yourself of all of them, any of them. And that's important. But now I want to get back to this master gardening thing, because we're onto something here. People who never thought they would garden have come to this involvement now in wanting to do it. I had someone who attended that first session with the presenter from A&M and said that he learned so much that he has to come back for the whole series, because he says, I learned the right way, not the way I think it should have been done. And there's a big difference.
Yes. Very big difference. And this is why,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, this is why I knew that Texas A&M AgriLife Extension with the Harris County Master Gardeners were the right choice. And the presenter, he's actually a retiree, and he's been doing gardening for a very long time. And I will admit, I am not a green thumb, but I hope it turns green at some point very soon. I am raising a peace lily in my office, so that's my first step. But he touched on a lot of things that I didn't realize. That, for instance, again, he mentioned native plants. That was a topic. But within the topic, he also discussed other topics. It was basically pertaining to questions that were asked by customers. And one of the things he talked about was composting. And he mentioned about, during the fall, we do the normal, rake up leaves, put them in a bag for pickup to be hauled off. We're getting rid of so many nutrients that are needed for continuous growth in the garden. So everything that's here is for a reason. All the beautiful leaves that fall from the trees, we need those to continue reproduction. So that is something I definitely learned. And I'm so glad to know that that participant, he came and was interested. I did let them know about the other lectures. So I hope that he comes, like he said, and bring friends.
Yeah.
Though we'll be doing it more online, it'd be nice to have more in person as well. And it's nice to hear the questions and the interactions from the customers, because you have a lot of green thumbs out there as well. But it's always great to learn from a master, who's doing it and who could teach us what we may think we know, as you said, but we really don't.
Right. And the proper compost container, which you can get, makes it very simple to compost. You throw your apple rinds and apple leftovers in there. You throw your watermelon rinds in there. All that stuff becomes compost and works, as you said, to the nutrients that the system needs. The other one is rain barrels. The city of Houston used to give away, no, not give away. The city of Houston used to have, for a reasonable price to purchase, rain barrels. I don't know if they still do it or not. And it was the idea was to capture the rainwater that you could use in your garden, use in your flower beds. And a lot of people took them, availed themselves of it. It was a nice size one. I don't think they still do it, but I'm not sure on that. But all those things are something that we offer. You just got to do a little research. You'd be surprised what you can find and what we offer through not only Houston Public Library, but the city itself. So as we get to the close of this time together, I want to give you both enough time to get in and make sure you raise up or talk about things that we have not touched on. So Crystal, I'll start with you. Whatever else you want to make sure that we know of today.
So a couple of things. The first big thing is just the reason that summer reading is so important. Is because with the kids out of school, you're dealing with what they like to refer to as the summer slide.
Yes.
Yes. So what we have found through research, through educators, through librarians, is that when kids get out of school, if there's not a way to engage their minds, they will actually, for lack of a better way to say it, slide backwards and lose some of the knowledge that they've learned during the school year. And so when they go back into school, it causes some kids to be behind and to have to try to catch up back to where they were. And research has found that reading 20 minutes a day, every day during the summer, and reading anything, I want to emphasize that, is that we want reading to be fun. We want people to be passionate about what they read. We're not asking you to be an academic when you read. We just want you to read anything you enjoy. And just that act of reading, that exposure to language, to creativity, to stories, is helping ignite the brains of these kids and helping keep all of that information active. So when they go back to school, they're ready to be back in the school. They can pick right back up where they left off. So we just really want to encourage everyone to read with your kids, to your kids, encourage your kids to read, read as a family, read as individuals, whatever works best for y'all. I know audiobooks are really great for some of our readers who don't do as well reading the actual books. But we just want to get across that it's really important to do this during the summer. And we like to do summer reading and to give you incentives and to give you fun things for doing the reading. But we also just want you to encourage you to do it because it's good for you. And the last thing that we wanted to add is, aside from our halfway prizes and our free books when you complete, is we also have what we call grand prize drawings. I'll let Donnie touch on this for the adults, but for my babies, my kids, my teens, as you read, every time you earn a badge, they earn a badge for 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, so on up to 30 books for my babies. They earn a ticket, and that ticket can go into a drawing. We have a lot of different things. For my teens and my kids, they can each put tickets in to win a Nintendo Switch Lite. There are wireless earphones that they could win. There are book collections for my babies. There's a lot of early literacy toys. So it's really exciting, and it's just an extra incentive and an extra exciting thing to do while you're doing this summer reading.
I want to thank you for that, but I also want to touch on something you raised because it's so important. And I like that you refer to them as your babies.
Yes.
In the inner city urban world of schools, that summer slide, which was really exacerbated with COVID, is so crucial because all the data and statistics will indicate that if one is reading below grade level at the fourth grade, they never catch up.
Yeah. You
never catch up. And that reading, particularly in those early years and staying on grade level, particularly at that fourth grade marker, has proven to be really the key to success for many young kids, because the frustration that go with not being able to read, or being able to read at your grade level, or being able to read with your peers, is so frustrating that the stress, you just quit altogether. I've known some young kids in elementary school who just gave up. They were so far behind. People made fun of them when they tried to read. They just gave up. So that point you raised is so important. Reading is your ticket out, because reading leads to being able to write, etc. So that's important. And the library has served that purpose for years from the beginning of its foundation. I know that's what I was mentioned in my own home library, my own little town. That's why they emphasized reading so much, because they knew if you got behind, you never going to catch up. And as I said, it also kept us out of trouble. It really did keep us out of trouble. All right, Donnie, it's all yours for the time that's left here.
Okay. So just as Crystal mentioned, we do also have grand prizes for adult summer reading. So main thing is make sure you're submitting your reviews and you're reading and you're attending library programs, because those get you tickets to win grand prizes. So of course, there will be random drawings and you have a chance to be able to win earbuds, 2 types of earbuds, as well as a USB bag that is filled with swag. So just want to encourage our adults and seniors just to continue to read. And the biggest thing I want to make sure that we want to make sure for a summer reading for grownups. Yes, we know that the ever so popular summer reading program for children and teens is great. It's been amazing. And, parents can take their children and teens and participate together. But we also want to let the parents and the seniors and adults know we have something for you too. Now, we have the Master Gardening program that's going on, as well as the other programs. But just to remind you, this is just the beginning. This was basically scratching the surface. This was laying the foundation for what the rest of the summers will look like. So we will have more programs. And by the way, did I mention that the Master Gardening program is free?
All right, there it is. I'm waiting for that magic word.
Free. And for my Spanish listeners, gratis. It was very free. So continue to participate in programs. And while at these programs, most of them, you will see me there.
All right.
I'd like to hear more from you. What more would you like to see? What more would you like to see in your library? So my job is to make sure I get those there. Just know that this is just the beginning.
Let him know. Let him know. It's important because with adults and seniors, there's also a sense of belonging. There's a sense of bonding. There's a sense of having developed a group that you can hang with in some cases. So it has all kinds of benefits. I know for the elderly and the seniors, that's important many times. Give us both of you, how you may be reached right quick before we go.
Yes, so you can always reach me. I have an office phone at 832-393-1597. Also my cell phone, 832-763-3085. Or you can reach me at my email at donnie.byrd@houstontx.gov. I look forward to hearing from you.
All right, Crystal?
The best way to reach me is actually via email. I always seem to miss the calls on my office phone, but it's just crystal.swimmer at houstontx.gov. And also for more information on summer reading, if you go to our website, houstonlibrary.org, that has all the events, tells you how to sign up for summer reading. And then of course, go to your local branch, talk to your library staff. If
Right.
you need a good book to read, they'll be there to recommend it for you.
And it seems like people are returning back to the library in person again. They're coming. All the branches seem to be getting more people as we speak. Just in case you get confused, sometimes I'll email, all City of Houston emails are the same. It's the first name dot last name houstontx.gov. So you can remember that, you can find anybody. I guess what that tells me as we come to the close here is that the Houston Public Library, we know it's a resource, a gem. We know it's a great thing to have. We know it's growing and developing. It's serving populations all over the city through all the locations and the branches and the neighborhood libraries. But it's still more to do, and there's much more to come. So stay tuned and stand by. But what's important is that you get to avail yourselves of the services, and you get to realize how much you can do at and through your Houston Public Library. And again, to do it all, you just need your card. Everybody should have a library card, a link card. And it's important to, once you dive into it, to see all the things you can access online in different places, different locations. It is amazing. I mean, it took somebody the other day, they told me they sat down and they figured out how much time it would take them to explore all the different channels that it was sending them to do their work. So please avail yourselves of it. It's there for you. We are there to serve. We are your Houston Public Library, and that's important as we go forward. So we got to get out of here. Let me just say this, that reading is important. Books are still important. Library and librarians are still important. And don't let anybody tell you differently. It is important still to have that book in your hand. There's something about that book in your hand and being able to hold it and read it and say it's mine. Even if it's borrowed, whether it's borrowed or given, a book. And books in the home make all the difference in the world and have kids available to have access to do their reading. Got to get out of here. We thank you for being part of Dialogue Houston this week, particularly for this very special segment, Houston Public Library, Living in New Knowledge. We look forward to you joining us in future segments. Until then, as always, be well, be safe, peace, power, and love.